So one of the questions that came in, I actually just kind of laughed at it when I first saw it.
Wait, this?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I know, right? Surprised that I'm going to talk about that. So the question was, how did you guys get so good at this? And at first I was like, whatever, we're not going to answer that question. And then I felt like the Lord was, he brought to mind a conversation Falake and I were having last night and today. And I'm not claiming that we're so great at this, but what I do know is that we have walked this battle, this struggle, and we have seen our life be impacted by Jesus and him encountering us where we're at. And I believe so firmly that we can't lead other people where we haven't gone before. And our authority in how we impact the world is based on the foundation of our own experience with the Father, with Jesus, with Holy Spirit in our lives in a really, really practical way. So I'm not saying that we're so great at this, but I will say that the reason that this is something that we're passionate about and that it comes through the way that we speak and the way that we engage with you is because we have lived it. So that ties into another question that you guys asked and that you've voted for, and it's kind of risen to the top, and it says, the question is, how can I help my gay friends follow Jesus when they're confused? And it's so in line with our with that first question that I want to touch on that first and let that be the foundation of what we're talking about this morning. And that is that your experience with Jesus and how he's interacting with you and your identity and your sexuality is going to be the place that you live from and the place that you have authority to speak into your friends' lives. So I spend a lot of time mentoring young men and young women in our community, and then even via FaceTime and on the phone across the country. And one of the biggest things that I like to talk about is how are you talking about your sexuality with Jesus? Like, you may be scared to do that because it's scary to talk about your sexuality with anyone else because there's so many opinions on how you should be living your life and what people think about it. But if you're afraid to go to Jesus, who is the most compassionate, the most kind, the most loving, the most understanding, then you're not going to want to go to your friends either. So if you can invite Jesus into the process, and I even encourage people, if you can remove sexuality from the conversation with Jesus, if you can just say, Jesus, who do you say I am? And Jesus, who do you say you are? And how do we get to know each other better? And how do we spend time with each other? And how do we get into depth of relationship where I can let you affect me? That is our foundation. That is the place from which we live all the other relationships that we live in our life.